Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Let Fear Bounce. This is Kim Langling, your host, and thank you once again for deciding to spend some of your time with myself and my special guest today. Excuse me, Charles Breakfield and Rox Burkey. Now, they are the dynamic duo authors, folks. And if you look at their banners, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see they are prolific writers. Yes, I said the word prolific. They are prolific writers. They have all kinds of wonderful books. They began writing nonfiction and then turned to fiction, their creative natures. They formed their LLC nearly 12 years ago and have created award-winning stories that resonate with men and women. They initially used potential technology threats as the fictional framework for their techno-thrillers. Now, they have two collections with that as the primary genre, the Enigma Series and the Enigma Heirs. They ventured into writing cozy mysteries with the underground authors in the Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicles, and I think that sounds so fun. Their newest short story collection novella, Trusted Friends and Lovers, evolved from the individual short stories previously published, and their love of children's imaginations prompted them to create the delightful story and activity book, The Dream, which you can also see on Rox's screen in the upper, I don't know if that's the right or left for you viewers on the other end, but look at all those wonderful books these beautiful people have written. Rox and Burkey, welcome once again to Let Fear Bounce.
Thank you, Kim. So sweet of you to have us.
I love having you guys on. You're returning guests, and you're always so busy. You've always got so much going on. You're writing books, you're doing author workshops on cruise ships, and all kinds of other wonderful things. So there's so much to talk about. I want to ask first about the Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicles, how that came about, and what made you decide you're going to go into that cozy mystery realm.
Interesting. So we actually joined together with 11 other authors, and we created a short story collection called Beyond the Sea. And we all took a picture, which is a picture of a boat that was beached. And we created a story with whatever our genres were about that particular boat. So everybody had the same target, but the stories are vastly different because all of the authors that are part of the underground authors have their own, some are paranormal, some are true, pure cozy mystery, some are a little bit of technology like we are. I mean, it's a whole array. So we started that 3 seasons ago, right, Charles?
Yeah, 3 seasons ago.
Okay. And so we actually claimed August as our release month. And so every year we've been releasing a book.
Yeah. So the good news about it is each one of them, we share characters back and forth. That's true. The rule is you can't kill somebody else's character. So,
good rule.
Yeah, it's a good rule. But they need to let you know when they've killed somebody so that you don't use them like we did, and we had to go back and fix the story. But they're all written as standalones, so that you can enjoy it, but they're all set in the same locale, just in the hill country of Texas, in this made-up town called Magnolia Bluff. And the catchphrase for it is, people are just dying to get in there.
Oh, awesome. What a cool concept, though, to have different authors. They've got you started this, it was a picture, and everybody created their own story around that picture of a boat.
Yeah.
Right. And we did it as a short story. And then once we did that novella, essentially, we said, nope, we want to take it and create the entire town. And everybody who has been in here will contribute to this town. So Death Wears a Crimson Hat is book 1 of the Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicles. And that's written by C.W. Hawes. But we are in season 1, season 2, season 3, and soon to be
Season 4.
That's it.
Well, yeah, if you're doing one in every August, so just a couple of months, you've got another one coming out.
And we've already scripted it. So it's we put down what I think is a pretty good little outline, and I can't wait to get some time to be able to start adding to it, because I got that all that pesky work that goes on, things that just show up all the time, like, oh, can you get this done, and can you get that done, or if this was done and it wasn't done right, so we got to go back and fix it, that kind of stuff.
How exciting, though. How exciting. So you're continually working on that. Now, you had said off mic beforehand, said you're always writing, you're always doing something because you want to stay relevant. What does relevant mean to you folks? I'm going to toss that at Charles first.
Well, relevant for us is we're in retail, if you think about it, and retail is always, what have you got that's new? Everybody's always that's why people like to shop. What's new? What have you got? And so our premise here is that exercising the writing muscles, continue to crank out stories, but they can't look like they're the same formula, the same. No, that's I've talked to readers before. They said, "Man, I really like so and so. I won't mention the name of the author, but it's the same formula. You already know how it's going to read just like the last one." And I'm so tired of that. So we try to make sure that our properties are unique, interesting, insightful, taste great, less filling, that kind of thing. So those are. We believe that keeps us on our toes. I mean, that's why the stretch for, the new trilogy, Enigma Heirs, that we got the third book will be out, fairly quickly, the first part of May, and then what's after that, not quite sure. We still got one more story. The Flight Enigma is the newest in the Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicles series that we'll contribute to in August.
How exciting. How exciting. Now, Rox, relevancy to you, like on a personal level. So put yourself in the reader's shoes.
Sure.
If you were looking at your own books and you're the reader, how would relevancy hit you as you're reading the books?
Well, that's a really interesting question, and it's one we have asked ourselves. So it depends on what the target is. So the original thrillers and technothrillers that we did, those were really targeted to people who enjoy action adventure, to mature adults. They are not for the kids. They're not really geared for the high school crowd or the really young, immature kind of groups. So then we started looking at, okay, so cozy mysteries, which is what the Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicles are. People really, there are fans of cozy mysteries that go over the top on cozy mysteries. And so, that makes Magnolia Bluff a very interesting way to dip in, because as Charles said, they're all standalone, and yet they do target people who like mysteries, people who like multi-threaded stories, the whodunits you can't quite figure out until the last page. It's like, oh, who did it? Really? Right. I never saw that coming. Yeah. And then women and women's contemporary are very big genres. Women are the best population for reading. So if you can keep them interested, that we have found to be a good thing. So we released Trusted Friends and Lovers last year, and that really is a collection of long, short stories that target relationships and how trust plays a role in different relationships. And it's not a pure romance or anything like that, though there is a little bit of romance in it. It's more about how women can relate to different stories. Can I tell you a story, Kim, and you picture yourself in the middle of that story? Then that's a good story for you as a target. But we also get a little bit bored, and so
that was going to be one of my questions. You're writing a lot and you have so many different series. Do the characters, that was my question, do the characters ever bore you?
Sometimes they do, or we just want to try something totally different. So we love young people. We like going to events. We like talking to people one-on-one. And so, we decided we wanted to do two things when we created The Dream, which is targeted for 8 to 14-year-olds, kids that are doing chapter books, but also kids that like fantasy. But we wanted to target how we could play with AI. And so for that particular book, Charles actually exercised a couple of AI tools to create the pictures. And so we can honestly tell fans that we wrote every bit of that book ourselves. So it's not an AI generated content from a story perspective,
Right.
but the graphics, absolutely, they're all AI. So Charles, comment about the AI that you did for this, because it was amazing how you worked it.
Well, so what we did was the story came first. I mean, it was we chipped away at it, and Rox liked the fact that there were some life lessons there to be able to for um, parents if they're reading to their kids, or if the kids are reading on their own. Um, don't give up on your dreams, and then that kind of poked us and prodded us in the direction of, well, wouldn't it be nice to have some images to go along with it? So, with all the words that we had crafted, it gave us a good information to be able to feed in, build a prompt, and then say, I want a graphic that looks like this. I want three-dimensional images. I want a brother and a sister. He's a little bit older than she is. She's got that fright, bright, fresh scrubbed look. And we get these images back, and I'm like, this is kind of cool. And then that led to, well, give me some black and white ones so that we can put them on back and they can color for the part of that. So, and then Brock said, well, wait a minute, we need some information here to be able to test their reading skills. Let's put in some puzzles and knowledge checks. So it practically turned into a textbook for reading. And
Oh, no textbook.
No, that's not a textbook. I'm thinking that's more like a workbook / journal type thing. Just fun
Yeah.
activity book.
Yeah, I was going to
How
say, I
fun!
wish I'd had an activity book like that when I was growing up. But
Well, yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. How fun! I mean, how often do folks put you've got the whole story, you're writing a book, but then you're adding all this extra fun stuff at the back? I can honestly say I've not seen a book like that, and I think that's brilliant. What a
Thank
brilliant
you.
idea, you guys. And using AI, there is a skill to creating the right prompt.
oh yes,
Because
yes,
I'm just diving into it, and I was using it. We were talking off mic. I wrote a fiction book, and I was using it to create a visual of my characters, because I want to look at the characters as I'm writing, so I feel more connected, and that's just how I want to do it. My first fiction book, and I used AI to create, and I was just amazed at what came back when I had to put in numerous different prompts for each character, because
yep,
sometimes I'm going, that is not what I was expecting to come back at me at all.
yeah,
Because sometimes you're surprised, you're like, oh no, that's not what I wanted.
yeah,
But there is a skill in there. But once you figure out the wording and how you need to phrase everything, oh my gosh, it's so fun to see what comes back. It's
yeah.
amazing.
Well, yeah, and that is a challenge. Building the prompt. Okay, it's got to be, this age group. Sometimes it doesn't understand. It's like,
Right.
I might spend half a day trying to get the prompt just exactly right. And if you make the mistake, it's like, well, take that picture and just add some. No, no, you ruined it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Sometimes you don't get this, not even close to what the picture was initially.
exactly. So
Yeah, I
and
learned
so
that the hard way.
yeah. So there's there's an awful lot of effort to try to craft a prompts to be able to get out what you want, to be able to help assist in the visuals for the story, and that's what we did with the dream, and it was a fun exercise, and we've played with another short story that we've got, same kind of thing.
Well,
It's more
it's
science fiction.
always fun to me anyway. It's always fun to learn something new like that. And AI is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And I feel, as long as it's used ethically,
Yeah, agreed.
then, use it as a tool. You know,
And
I
that's
mean,
what
I would not use it to write a book, but to help maybe expand an idea or create an outline for something, or the visuals, like you were saying, and I've done the same with visuals. It's very helpful, because sometimes you don't have another person to toss ideas back and forth with. A lot
well,
of
yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of authors are solopreneurs, and it's a pretty isolating thing,
yeah,
being an
yeah,
author. So I've found it helpful when I have some ideas I want to flesh out. It might not flesh it out the way I want to, but then I learned that's not the way I want to go. You know?
Exactly. The other thing we learned with the dream is we created that as a book and as an ebook. Unfortunately, Amazon has rules about ebooks that have activities in them and will not allow them. So the ebook cannot have the activities. So we've separated the activity portion and folks can download it from our website for free.
Oh, awesome. There you go. Perfect solution. See, there's always a solution.
Yep.
There's always a solution. So you've got the dream, and that's for 8 to 14-year-olds. You guys are all over the board. I mean, this is just a lot of authors are pretty much in the same genre. You guys just expand everywhere, which I find fascinating. So, and there's two of you. You're this dynamic duo. But who came up with let's do the dream? Let's do a book focused towards 8 to 14-year-olds when you've got the Enigma series that you've been writing for years, and it's like, let's do this.
Actually, that was Rox's point of view. She wanted um, we wanted to have more property or storytelling for the younger crowds as teaching aids, and here's something to consider at this point in your life. Don't give up on your dreams. I mean, yeah. And so it was that's one of those things where she'll say something, and then we'll park it in a sidebar conversation, and I'll pick it up, dust it off after some period of time, and just what do you think about this? And she'll go, give me that.
Yeah.
She'll run with it.
Yeah. I love that. It sounds like both of you are teachers at heart.
Well, you want to go ahead and confess to that, Rox? We yes, we trained technology professionals in our youth, and it was just one of those things that we were quite good at it. So we were often suitcased and said, okay. They said, you know how to do this. We need you in Brazil. It's like, Brazil. They would know. Okay, fine, we'll do that. And we need you in Canada. Okay, we need you in Ireland. And so that helped get a lot of background material, exposure to different cultures and lines of thought. So that's kind of found its way into almost all the books.
And I was just going to say the travel alone is the memories that you make and what you view. I'm a big people watcher, and I'm assuming that you two are too. You just seem like you would be good people watchers, and it can only add awesome little tidbits to stories. So how fun that you were able to do all of that, and then that's part of all of what you've created now with I mean, all these books that are behind you guys on your banners. I think it's so awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. It is fun though, and the travel comes into the different books at different ways, because we have been to Asia, to Europe, certainly the Caribbean. One of my favorite stops is the Caribbean, anywhere in the Caribbean. It's warm there, but no, Canada.
Yes. So what's on tap? What's on tap next for you guys? It's we're in the beginning of summer right now. So what's on tap, come fall? I know in August, in a couple of months, you've got another book coming out, but do you have anything on the back burner that you can share?
We've also got another audiobook that'll come out on the Enigma Jewels. We stagger that output, so we have the ebook and the paper they hit, and then 60-90 days later the audiobook is done. Mostly because our voice actor Derek Scholes, he's so busy, we have to petition him in advance, way in advance, to be able to get on his schedule. He's the voice of the Enigma series, so we'll hold out for him rather than go with somebody else, just because we like his voice and his ability to be able to keep track of over 150 characters that we've got across all the books. He does like we do. He keeps an inventory on a spreadsheet. Okay, let's see. Then you use that character in book 5, and you're bringing back. Okay, got it. And he keeps a snippet of the voice, so the voice is consistent across the.
You
the
would
footprint.
definitely want to stick with him then. You certainly wouldn't want to go with different voices with all of those books. That would be, and that's probably something that a lot of folks don't think about, just how much goes into those audiobooks and those series. The
Oh yeah.
reader in general, folks just don't realize the amount of effort and time and money.
What's fun about that though is that we've written these books. I mean, us together, and yet no matter how much how much time we spent on weeks, months, it's always a big treat for us to sit down, popcorn, our favorite adult beverage, and listen to the chapters as he sends them through. And we're like, oh, that's good. It's so different than
I
reading
can
it.
imagine, yeah, how fun that would be, because
Yeah,
it's a whole different feeling, isn't it? Even though you've written it,
It
it'd be
is a
a whole
different
feeling.
Listening to it is almost like catching a movie. You can close your eyes and the pictures just kind of run through your head if the descriptions are good and the intonations are good by the voicer. It makes a difference. It's like a whole different event, as it were. And he is quite good. He really is, and he is in high demand. So
yeah. The accents, the age difference, male, female.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
this guy is spectacular. I can't
So
think
he
of enough
obviously
nice words
knows
for him.
his stuff then. How awesome. What a blessing
Yeah.
that you have him.
Yes.
well, and any of your listeners, Kim, that would like to have an audiobook to listen to, Out of Poland is the prequel to all of the Enigma series. And if folks want to send an email and say, hey, I want an audiobook and I want that particular one, and they send it to authors at enigmaseries.com, we'll ship them a promo code for either US or UK.
Oh, how awesome. That will definitely be in the description notes, folks. So you can do that and get yourself the ebook Out of Poland, correct? That's what you said?
Out of Poland, it's a historical fiction, so it's good for pretty much anyone. But it'll give you a sampling of the voices, and it's a fun action adventure that takes place over World War II. So it's a wonderful book.
I might be sending you off an email
Do it,
requesting
Kim.
that. Oh, how fun. How fun. So we're going to get ready to wrap up here, folks. One last question for each of you. Rox, what is your favorite thing about writing?
It is fleshing out an idea that I see in my mind. And sometimes I'm looking at it one way, and yet when I get it fleshed out, it's totally a different way. When we created when we created the Flight Enigma, which is the Magnolia Bluff Crime Chronicles that's coming out in August, I had an idea it was going to go in one direction. And then I started working on it, and it totally went a different way. And yet it was the right way. So I like that aspect.
The challenge of it and just going with the flow of how it comes to you.
Well, and the characters, they do talk to me.
Yeah. I learned that myself writing my first fiction book. I'm like, wow, now I understand what all these other fiction writers have been telling me when they say their characters talk to them. I now understand that. So yeah, it's fun. It's fun in my head sometimes. So, Charles, what is your favorite thing about when the book is finished? What is it that just gives you like this little burst of joy?
I'm usually the last reader in the chain, and so there's a lot of story smithing, character smithing that goes on, and it's polishing effort, and then you get to the end like, wow, what was I doing? And it's almost like this I've reached the light at the end of the tunnel, and I like going back and reading it hard, make sure there's no words that are being inserted that aren't there, stuff like that. The wrong word choice for a particular sentence. Can this be said better? That's what I like about that, is that because it's ours, we get to do the little polishing efforts that go on for the story, so it has a good feel to it for the readers. That's what I like.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you both. This has been a fun conversation. Now, I always close out the show asking my guests to toss out a nugget of hope. So, Rox, what would your nugget of hope for the listeners be today?
I think my nugget of hope for even for 25 is that if you try and you want something badly enough and you work at it, you can achieve it. So don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Love that. Love that. Charles, what would your nugget of hope be?
Nugget of hope, it would be that I'm not done yet.
I love, remind yourself.
Like that.
Not done yet. Oh, I love that. That's a good coffee mug.
Yep.
I do. It is.
Every time I have a guest, I'm like, put that on a mug. That's a good one. I'm not done yet. Love it. You guys, thank you so much for coming back and visiting with me for a while on Let Fear Bounce. It's always a true pleasure and a blessing to have you guys on as my guests. So thank you both very much.
Thank you, Kim. You're awesome. Love your work.
Everybody out there, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of Let Fear Bounce. Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, do all those good things. So all of these nuggets of hope and wonderful stories and little, items of all these things that we're learning can be shared farther and wider. Thanks again for stopping in here at Let Fear Bounce. I am Kim Langling, your host. Everybody be well, stay well, and above all, be blessed.
One small act of kindness. It costs nothing, but its reach farther than you'll ever know. Nuggets of Hope, Cultivate Kindness is filled with real stories that prove kindness does make a difference. Start your ripple today. Share a little hope. Available now on Amazon. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let Fear Bounce. New episodes drop each week, folks, on YouTube and Spotify and most listening platforms. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all the things. So until next time, folks, take a deep breath, be kind to yourself, and as always, let fear bounce.